Our meeting is called to order. Please call the roll.
Mr. Buckner.
Here.
Reverend Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Gilstrap.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Vice Mayor Miller.
Here.
Mr. Raleigh. Mayor Saunders.
Here.
Mr. Shanks. Mr. Vogler.
Here. Please stand for the invocation and remain standing pledge given tonight by Councilmember Vice Mayor Dr. Garrett D. Miller.
Let us pray.
Dear Lord, as we deliberate tonight, help us to be fair, to see what is best for all of our citizens, of all races, all creeds, all religions. It is so easy to see only our own point of view, to favor those who look or act like us, who travel in the same economic circles. But that is not the American way, the Virginia way. It's not the Danville way, which is to be fair to all concerned and come up with the best answers, the best policies, the best solutions for the good of our citizens. All of whom are God's children. Amen.
Amen.
Now I'd like to recognize the Girl Scouts who will do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, and also special thanks to our Girl Scouts as well. And while the Girl Scouts are here, I do have a proclamation that I would like to read and present to you. And it reads, whereas March 12, 2016 marked the 104th anniversary of Girl Scouts of the USA, founded by Juliet Gordon Lowe in 1912 in Savannah, Georgia. 1912, the same year Ken Larkin was born, and he's still here. And whereas throughout its long, distinguished history, Girl Scouting has inspired millions of girls and women with the highest ideals of character, conduct, and patriotism. And whereas through Girl Scouting, girls gain courage, confidence, and character who make their local communities and the world a better place. And whereas more than 2.7 million current Girl Scout members nationwide will be celebrating 104 years, the same age as Vice Mayor Dr. Gary Miller, of this American tradition, with nearly 60 million women who are former Girl Scouts and living proof of the impact of this amazing movement. Now, therefore, I, Sherman M. Saunders, Mayor, City of Danville, do hereby proclaim March 6 through 12, 2016 as Girl Scout Week and applaud the commitment Girl Scouting has made to America's girls. Given under my hand this first day of March 2016, Chairman M. Saunders, Mayor. Thank you all for representation. Congratulations. Thank you.
This is a bittersweet night for me. It's the last time my troop will lead the Danville Girl Scouts in our Girl Scout Week celebration here at City Council. It's time, after all. We're older and soon we'll be registering as adult scouts. For me, when I first came here, this room intimidated me. Now it welcomes me. The experiences I've had here with Girl Scouts have taught me that I have a voice in my city and that what I have to say is important to you. It is my biggest wish that these scouts have the same experience and come to love this week every year the way I do. Your encouragement and participation in our events over the years has meant more than you would know. When we have your support, we know we are doing something valuable for our community, and it makes us want to do even more. So, we are glad every year to give you a box of cookies as a token of our appreciation. It's a delicious way for us to say, thank you for supporting Girl Scouts. We now have some cookies for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You did that on purpose.
No fighting over the cookies.
I have another proclamation. I'd like to invite Ms. Faith Stamp, Executive Director, Boys and Girls Club, Danville area, to come forward, please. It is my honor to make this presentation. Whereas the young people of Danville are tomorrow's leaders, and many such young people need professional youth services to help them cope with a wide range of social and financial hardships. And whereas the Foster Street unit of the Boys and Girls Club of Danville is providing services to more than 250 young people annually. And whereas the Boys and Girls Club of Danville is at the forefront of efforts in academic success, healthy lifestyles, and good character and leadership. And whereas the Boys and Girls Club in our state help ensure that young people keep off the streets, offering them a safe and supportive place to go and providing them with quality programs. And whereas the Boys and Girls Club of Danville will celebrate National Boys and Girls Club Week along with some 4,100 clubs and more than 4 million young children and teenagers. Now, therefore, I, Sherman M. Saunders, Mayor, City of Danville, do hereby proclaim March 7 through 13, 2016 as Boys and Girls Club Week in Danville, and call on our citizens to join in recognizing and commending the Boys and Girls Club for providing comprehensive, effective services to young people in our community. Given under my hand this first day of March, 2016, Sherman M. Saunders, Mayor. And thank you so much for what you do. Would you like to have some remarks?
Thank you, Mayor Saunders and members of council. On behalf of the youth that we serve, I really appreciate you all recognizing what we do and what we do nationally. There are about 15 million children that go home every afternoon with no place to go. And so what we do, not only locally in our community serving the youth ages 5 to 18, but what we do nationally helps our youth become the next generation of leaders. And what we're doing in our clubs in Danville and Pittsylvania County are so vital to the youth that we serve every single day as they come through our doors. We currently, in 2015, had 0 teen pregnancies once again, something we're very proud of. We also had 97% of our kids promoted to the next grade level, and all of our high school seniors graduated on time with a plan to take next steps. So again, thank you all so much for your continued support of our youth in this community. We couldn't do it without you all. Thank you.
And thank you and your board and your volunteers for all you do. And there are other comments. Mr. Kimball?
Yes, so yeah, we just thank you for all the work that I know how hard you work, and they're moving forward. We really appreciate your work and efforts. Thank you so much.
Mr. Vogler?
Yeah, thank you for everything that you do, and you know, you open your doors to so many people, and then, you know, most recently having the walk, the community walk there, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a plug for the event that you've got on March 25th, which is a great fundraiser to help continue all the great things that you do in the community. The Blue Jeans Gala that my wife and I will be going to again this year, and encourage everyone else to come out to also. It helps with a lot of the great things that they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Yeah, Boys and Girls Club, Girl Scouts, it doesn't get any better than this. This is what makes our community thrive and produces our leaders. Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you so much for what you do. Could you tell everybody who's listening and looking by television about the new sign on your building?
Oh, thank you for that reminder. So it was sort of like birthing a child. We had not had our brand truly visible, I think since we moved in the building in 1998. And about 3 months ago, we were able to secure funding over the past year to get a new sign which brands us as a Boys and Girls Club. And you can see it from Industrial, South Main, Betts, Craghead. It's pretty amazing, and it really is, it shows where we are to the community, and it's a stake in the ground.
Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Again, please convey our thanks to your board, to your staff, your volunteers, and the entire community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to get an update from Danville Regional Medical Center from its CEO, Mr. Alan Larson. Come forward, sir, and we welcome you to Danville, and we are very honored that you've come to our city, and we thank you so much for what you do every day. And now we will hear this wonderful report.
Thank you, Mayor. City Council, it's a pleasure to be back. I appreciate the opportunity to give you an update. Personally, I'd like to thank also the community and the very fine members of this community who have welcomed myself, my family. We feel very much a part of this town and grateful to call Danville our home. Just a few minutes to cover a couple things that I think I'd like to update, and then hopefully take a few minutes for some question and answer if there's some things you'd like to. When I came last time, I kind of outlined a strategy of listen, learn, and execute. I'm still listening and learning, but I think there's some things we've done in the last couple of months that I'm proud of and wanted to give the council and the community an update on the things we're doing at Danville Regional. And then kind of talk a little bit about where we're going in 2016. So our mission is, we've been pretty vocal recently about, is how do we help make our community healthier? So there's several ways in which we're doing that. One is financially. In 2015, Danville Regional Medical Center contributed over $1.5 million in taxes, property taxes, sales taxes, that all go to help support the city, the community, the state, and the county. We also are one of the larger employers in the community. We provide over $70 million a year in annual employment for our employees and medical staff and support services. Also, in 2015, we contributed over $300,000 to sponsorships and organizations that we were pleased to partner with. Danville Regional is also committed to delivering care to those people who can't afford care. So in 2015, we contributed over $44 million to those people who could not pay for care. We also continue to support patients in the community who provide and receive care through the Piedmont Access to Health Care Services, or PATHS, in the free clinic. We support them in areas of lab, imaging, and medical support. In this last year, 2015, we recruited 11 new physicians, 12 mid-level providers in areas of obstetrics, wound care, hematology, oncology or cancer care, radiation oncology, pain management, family practice, just to name a few, emergency medicine. In 2015, the hospital has historically had a relationship with Duke University, Duke Health System. We expanded that this last year in radiation oncology. Dr. John Nelson, a new radiation oncologist, expertly trained and has done well in expanding the footprint of cancer care throughout this community. So that adds to our already strong relationship with Duke in quality and safety affiliation. Our cardiovascular service line affiliation has been in place for a number of years. General surgeons are part of the Duke family practice, and then our increasingly popular telestroke program. All of these are working to help us save lives and improve quality of care locally here in the community. We embarked in 2015 on a very successful initiative in partnership with CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the government payer for a lot of the patients in this community. We engaged in a program called a Hospital Engagement Network, or a HEN. Danville was one of the 65 hospitals within the LifePoint system, the only system that pledged all of their hospitals toward this initiative. And in 2016, that's another initiative we're working on. We're focusing on things like keeping patients safe, making sure they don't slip and fall, that they're not acquiring diseases or pneumonias or concerns within the hospital, that we're doing all the right things to make ourselves a highly reliable organization. So we're committed to that initiative again in 2016. A partnership, again, as I mentioned, with CMS. We've moved forward in several strategic initiatives that we've committed to this council in the past. We had the groundbreaking for the Chatham Health and Wellness Clinic late last year. Construction is now underway, and we hope to have that project completed in the coming months, probably late fall, late summer, early fall. The project, in partnership with Dr. Herman and the orthopedic clinic here in Danville, moves forward at the River District. It's under construction, and I get regular texts from Dr. Herman each day showing me pictures of the progress of the renovation they're making there. Our behavioral health unit in the hospital will undergo a facelift, relocation, and an expansion. That project, again, is being supervised and completed. The final drawings are being completed, and we should begin that project in the next probably 30 days. And we mentioned already our radiation oncology. That's an expansion of a new service through a new partnership through Duke. So those are commitments made and commitments that we've continued to focus on. The hospital also continues to expand its primary care network and commitment to physicians in the community. In 2015, our physician practices acquired 3 new practices in the community. These are physicians who have been practicing in this community for a number of years, but have said that they needed support and help and management in continuing to practice in this community. So currently, through the management of that support service, we have over 67 physicians in 17 locations that we provide physician services to our community. We're beginning a new initiative in the coming months, focusing on improving the broad population health of our community, or a clinically integrated network, working with our physicians, with Gateway Health, an insurance plan that's been partnered of the physicians in the hospital for a number of years. We're excited to see that growth and progress and improvement in helping us to move quality of care to a higher level and reduce costs that we would be passing on to the employers. So those are kind of the highlights of what I think are significant for 2015. Looking ahead, we're waiting for final approval, but we did complete our accreditation. Hospitals, like all organizations, must be certified for quality. A third-party entity called the Joint Commission on Healthcare Accreditation surveyed our hospital early this year, January 3rd, as a matter of fact. We didn't expect them to come. It was kind of a surprise visit. They are unannounced in their surveys. The Joint Commission surveys over 21,000 hospitals across the country, and healthcare organizations, not just hospitals. And we're really proud to announce that we had wonderful recognition. Very few. I will present more of official findings once we get this back, official certification, but there were no recommendations for commendation or for there were no negative recommendations. They were all positive and found very, very successful. Danville Regional Medical Center is also fully accredited as a chest pain center in our emergency department, and will be going for a higher level of accreditation in the coming weeks. That survey is also unannounced, and they'll be coming in and looking at our processes programs and services. We're also certified as a stroke center, and our partnership with Duke on the telestroke helps us get our metrics higher each year. So if you're having a stroke or a heart attack, seconds matter. Research continues to show that golden hour that happens in the first few minutes of your heart attack or a stroke. So we're pleased to be able to offer this quality service to the community, that we can meet the needs at all levels of care for cardiac as well as for stroke. We're working to maintain these certifications and helping move it to higher levels to make sure that our patients in the community with chest pain or other heart attack symptoms and stroke can be safely treated. The other thing I would talk about is a continued commitment to teaching. Danville Regional Medical Center is a teaching hospital. We have about 50 residents that we provide training and education to, as well as medical students, probably another 30 medical students, pharmacy students, nursing students, lab tech students. Study year after year continues to show that a teaching hospital has improved quality of care. When you're having to teach somebody how to do something, then your commitment to provide the highest level care is shown. So we're committed to seeing that our graduate medical education or our training program continue in this year and go forward. The national associations that accredit these organizations are changing, and so Danville will be going through some higher level of certification. By 2017, we expect to not only be accredited by the American Osteopathic Association, but also American College of Graduate Medical Education, or ACGME. So that'll allow our residents who come and train here to be able to move on to additional fellowship training, as well as help us increase the quality of training that we provide. So we're committed to that and continue to. So oftentimes patients come to our hospital and they see a lot of people in white lab coats and get confused, who's my doctor? Well, the answer is they all are. And they're all learning and they're all working together to provide good quality care. The last thing I would say is a comment around thanks and appreciation. Danville Regional has, and I felt like it was important that we take a lead in helping our community focus on imagining Danville as a crime-free community. So for the last 4 weeks, we've had weekly walks, a prayer and community coming together to talk about. We've had thousands of great ideas. A lot of people have come to our website. A lot of people have come to our walks. Thank you for the support that you've given from this chamber. Each of you have been there and supportive, most of you each week. So we thank you for that. We're supportive of the work that you're doing and not calling out this council for not doing anything or its police force. We're encouraged by the work we're doing. We have pledges from community leaders over the next 4 weeks to continue the walk going forward in different locations. We mentioned the walk that was held from the Boys and Girls Club, and we're thankful for that. Averett University this past week, I think we had a good turnout and good feedback. So we're excited to keep sponsoring this and eager to work and collaborate. Members of this body and others are coming together to take the feedback from the community and from those who are writing in to listen to those ideas, consider and deliberate, and we're eager to be able to implement some of those good ideas. Communities are sometimes challenged on patience, and they're eager to see things happen immediately. And so I think that the challenge that we have as leaders is to show commitment to making progress and implementing these good ideas and work to collaborate on a broader scale. So thank you for the support that you've given in this effort. We're committed to continue to make it work and imagine Danville as a crime-free community. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm happy to answer a couple of questions as long as you'll be kind.
There may be some questions and comments from our council members, but let me make 6 quick observations. First of all, I also ask that Mr. Leslie Smith is here as well. Thank you for coming. Danville's own, by the way. Okay, glad you're here. You talked about $44 million spent helping people who could not afford to pay for medical care.
Yes, sir.
$44 million.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You talked about Duke being having general surgery now. I remember when Duke first started working with DRMC, and our own Vice Mayor Gary Miller were very much involved in that. So Duke has extended from the heart certification to now general surgery?
Correct. Radiation oncology is another service that we partner with Duke. Dr. Miller, perhaps you want to elaborate on others, but I think it's been a good program and a good service.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and you mentioned the project that Dr. Harmon's working with, River District Project. That is a huge issue for our city, and we really appreciate your hospital investing in that project. We know it'll be successful. You also mentioned about 3 physician practices now in the community. Can you say a little bit more about that? Were they full-time inside your unit and then established private practice outside the unit? When you say 3 now in the community, what does that mean?
There's 3, in 2015, there were 3 additional practices that we manage.
Okay.
As a result of our physician practice. There's a separate department within the hospital, within the health system, that manages physician practices. Several of them that we've owned or managed for a long time. I think it's important to say, and thank you for the clarification of the question, the hospital is not in the business of taking over private practices. We're not trying to put private businesses out of business. In fact, these are physician practices that have been in this community for a long time that have come to the hospital and said, we feel like there's value in working in a larger collaborative effort rather than as independent practices. So those are the ones that came about. One is Dr. Pulmonology, ENT, and internal medicine. That became part of our physician practice group this year.
Okay, and then finally for me, you've been in Danville now less than a year. You came in and immediately got involved in the community, and we really appreciate that. And just one example among many of what Mr. Alan Lawson has done in Danville, the community walks. And it's clear that you love our city, that you're concerned about our community, the entire city, and you're not doing it for any fanfare. That's why I really can appreciate the way that you're doing this, and thank you for your service and all the contributions and resources to make our city better. Mr. Jones,
I am announcing that I'm running for mayor.
Well, you may do
Just
that.
kidding.
Join the
This
field.
would not be the proper
be going
forum
around.
to make the announcement. But you just did, right? Okay, Mr. Jones, Mr. Gilstrap, Mr. Vice Mayor, and Mr. Campbell.
I too want to say thank you so much for your community and peace walks and community engagement in helping to make Danville crime-free. I had the opportunity, Mr. Mayor, I had the opportunity to walk with the future mayor at the first walk.
Don't spread that rumor broader than it needs to be.
Leslie, I had an opportunity to walk with him, and I enjoyed it very much, both at the hospital and at Boys and Girls Club. Lastly, another comment. Yesterday, I had to go through my yearly physical, and my doctor told me to go to Danville Regional Medical Center. It was one last test that he wanted me to take, and your staff yesterday treated me like a king. They were phenomenal, and I want to thank you so much for your customer service. It's something we as a council have been talking about, and yesterday I witnessed that firsthand for myself as I went into this huge machine, and I just want to say thank you and all what you're doing for our community. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Gilstrap.
I too would like to thank you, and I also want to relay to you that my wife last Thursday morning had a total knee replacement, and she received excellent care, not only from Dr. Mark Herman who did the surgery, but from the staff on that second floor. I can't speak for the rest of the hospital, but the staff on that second floor were just excellent. And we had visitations from even doctors that were not our doctor. Thank you, Gary. But anyway, I just wanted to relay to you, I was very impressed with the care, and it just made you feel like they really cared about you.
I hope you have your wife's permission to share all this, or I'll have to call you up on HIPAA.
I do not have her permission, but I'm sure she would agree.
City attorney, I just want to go on record.
I'm right.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I want to commend the community walks. Many of us have gone to most, if not all, those walks, except for a council meeting got in the way last Friday night. But that certainly helped bring the community together. And as I said at our hospital board meeting last week, nothing makes the city council smile as much as the residency program and all the young professionals that it's brought to this town. Think about it. If we had an industry announced tomorrow that 50 employees averaging $50,000 a piece salary, we go gaga. And these young professionals bring their families, they live downtown, they spend money in Danville, and they enjoy living here. And that's just been a major economic boost to our downtown revitalization. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Campbell.
Ms. Lawson, I just want to say thank you. You moving into the area, I know the work that you do and how hard you work. I just want to say we really thank you for how you've blended into our city and your love and your care. And the Peace Walk is something that is really touching to me and to this community, and I pray that we can move forward and have even a greater impact upon the crime within our community. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Vogler.
Yeah, I too want to thank you and you know, not only for taking a position here, but truly immersing yourself in the community and the time that you've been here and the community walks that we've had. As mentioned, you know, we've had a chance to be at, I think, all of them, but the one that we had a meeting and had a chance at the last one I was at to bring my son, and he walked through part of it. I had to carry him through most of it. Realized how heavy he's gotten, but it was a great event and great to see so many people coming together. And I mentioned this to you, but I want to again say it to give you a shout out. My sister-in-law had a baby recently at the hospital and had a phenomenal experience there. It was nothing but great things at DRMC having my little niece. So thank you and keep up the great work, and just want to give props to everybody at the hospital for the great job that they're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Buckner.
Mr. Larson, I would just like to again echo what everybody else is saying, and thank you so much to you and your staff for organizing the peace walks in the community, and thank you so much for your commitment to a crime-free Danville. I think that's what everybody in this city wants. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
We have much work to do. There are many changes coming in the coming year. There's a lot of new things that will be coming about, but I'm convinced that if we work together, we can make this happen.
Mr. Larson, I think you see that you have the support of Danville City Council and you have the support of the city. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, I should tell you that, I meant to tell you earlier, that Mr. Shanks could not be here tonight because he had another commitment that he had to honor, and Mr. Raleigh is not feeling well. So our best wishes to him and hope he feels well soon. On the communication, and I think you have rules that should be attached, I think, Madam Clerk, to the agenda in terms of how we go about doing that. The main thing, remember, those who speak individually will need your name and your address, and you will have 5 minutes for your presentation. If you're speaking for a group, you must first identify that group and then speak. You have 10 minutes, and again, those will be uninterrupted minutes. So anyone who wishes to speak on matters not on the agenda will be heard at this time. Anyone? Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
My name is Michael Miller. I live at 2532 Franklin Turnpike. My wife and I moved to Danville from the Washington, D.C. area 35 years ago after literally picking it off of a map. We'd never heard of Danville before. We poured our lives into making Danville a better place. Before I came to Danville, I was accomplished in more than one field. I was an award-winning employee for the government. I earned achievement awards. I earned a cash award for an idea that I presented that saved the government thousands of dollars a year. My wife Jeanette and I hold a second-place national title in what we perform in, and that's mixed pairs freestyle. We're professional Frisbee team. Last summer, we were honored at the U.S. Open as pioneers in the sport. Last summer, I cyber threw a Frisbee around the world to create awareness for global poverty. I have 1,700 friends around the world. One of them is a 16-year-old boy that plays on the banks of the Ganges. He participated in the throw. We opened a popular restaurant and ran it for 12 years. We were written about in 2 books by local authors. One, Adrian O'Connor, and I'm sure some of you remember him as editor of the Register and Bee. And we made Catherine Davis's 75 Most Interesting People in Danville. In our restaurant, Paul Reiser was one of our dinner guests. It was a popular restaurant. In fact, that's what the article that Adrian wrote about us was about. I've performed in every school, every public school in Danville. I taught a course at Averett University in aero sports probably before you were born. It was 82. I know about disc sports. Jeanette and I, she's a member before me, are the senior most legacy members in the Professional Disc Golf Association in Danville. I read with dismay about the assessment survey that ranked Danville so low or ranked disc golf so low in interest in the area. That's just not true. They didn't ask the right people the right questions. The problem with the low assessment is on Danville. It has been, the disc golf course has been mismanaged for over 5 years. I've written to members of City Council. I've had lunch with members of City Council. I've written letters to the editor. I've done everything possible that I could do, politely and by the rules, or else I'd be in trouble. As I speak to you, I am barred by police order from all parks and recreation buildings in the city. This is unacceptable to me. I came tonight to talk about I'm going to come to talk to you about my issue, but the assessment, the story of the assessment caught my eye and trumped, like the way I did that, what I was going to talk about in the first place. I'm running out of time, but I want you to reconsider or consider talking to me before you make decisions or let Parks and Rec make decisions. They won't talk to me. I'm not allowed to talk to them. As I wrap up, I leave you with this. Oh, I'd like to introduce my friends. This is Big Daddy. All of the dark spots, smudges that you see in this disc are his ashes because disc golf meant this much to him. This, same thing. All of the dark spots you see in here are not dirt. They're Ed Hedrick. He is the inventor of disc golf. There was only 2,000 of these made. There was only 250 of these made. Both of them were in my museum, but I closed it because of decisions that you made. Now,
thank you,
I'll be back. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I'll be brief tonight, and since I don't have nearly 5 minutes, and in keeping with the theme of the evening, Mr. Larkin, the mayor is older than you are. Mr. Mayor, council members, staff, I am Harold Garrison, Westover Drive. I am here to speak on an issue that I feel is important to the citizens of Danville. On February 17th, 2015,
Could you pull the mic down, please? Thank you.
Sorry, do you want me to start over?
No, just,
I've got plenty of time.
How old Ken
I have
is.
plenty of time, though. I'll start over. Mr. Mayor, council members, and staff, I am Harold Garrison, Westover Drive. I'm here to speak on an issue that I feel is important to the citizens of Danville. On February 17th, 2016, there was an auction of property in the city. I am concerned that an employee of the city was present at that auction bidding against private enterprise. This employee was bidding on behalf of the IDA, a council-appointed board of the city of Danville. After reading the functions of the IDA on the city's website, I am not sure that bidding against private enterprise is part of these functions. I feel that it is not in the best interest of the citizens to have a city employee representing a city board bid in an open auction for property. I am one citizen, I'm sure there are others, who is in favor of keeping property in the hands of private individuals that pay property taxes. I am one citizen. I feel there are others with the perception that the IDA operates in the shadows as an arm of the city. I do not know the boundaries of authority for the IDA. However, I do feel the boundary was crossed on February 17th, 2016. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, sir.
Good evening, members of the council, Mayor, Mr. Massey, gentlemen there. My name is David Corp. I live on Holbrook Avenue, but I come to you this evening as a member of the Board of Directors of the Danville Historical Society. Each of you has been given a recent copy of our newsletter, and a member of with your permission, we would like to update you occasionally on the activities, the programs, and the endeavors of the Danville Historical Society. Attached to that newsletter is a small flyer that outlines a couple of our upcoming programs, and we invite all the members of the council and the mayor to attend. In addition, for the past 2 years, the Historical Society has held at Jake's on Main, but now at the Backdoor Grill, a monthly quiz night, spirited competition, and we would invite the members of the council and people that work in this building to put together a team. We challenge you. My number is on that little flyer. And finally, we would invite you to the unveiling and a reception for the home sign, newly installed at North Union and Main Street. That sign, which for many years was atop the White Mill, has been in the care of the Historical Society, and we're partnering with Parks and Rec, the River District Association, to bring that to our entire community. So I thank you, and any questions? Mr. Vogler, I appoint you to put together that team.
I'm ready.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak on any item that's not on the agenda? Anyone else? Okay. Is there a motion to approve our minutes of February the 2nd, 2016? Mr.
Motion.
Campbell, second, Mr. Buckner. Discussion on the motion. Please call the roll.
Mr. Buckner.
Aye.
Reverend Campbell.
Aye.
Mr. Gilstrap.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Mayor Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Raleigh. Mayor Saunders.
Aye.
Mr. Shanks. Mr. Vogler.
Aye.
Consideration of adopting an ordinance to appropriate funds received from the State Department of Social Services. Council, your pleasure. Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Mayor, I move for adopting ordinance amending the fiscal year 2016 budget appropriation ordinance by appropriating grant funds received from the State Department of Social Service in the amount of $77,715.
Okay, is there a second? Mr. Vice Mayor, discussion on the motion. First reading. Consideration of adopting an ordinance to grant a special use permit at 136 South Ridge Street. Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to propose an ordinance granting...
I'm sorry, excuse me. I apologize. My error. Open hearing. Anyone wish to speak? Anyone wish to speak? Close the public hearing. Now, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to propose an ordinance granting a special use permit for commercial indoor recreation in accordance with Article 3K, Section C, Item 5 of the Code of the City of Danville, Virginia, 1986, as amended at 136 South Ridge Street.
Second by Mr. Jones. Discussion on the motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Jones?
I'd like to say that Vaughn Wellington is here, and Vaughn, I just want to say thank you so much for all that you're doing at this location. Mr. Mayor, you also have the River District Barbershop connected to this. So Vaughn, very proud of you, and thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, if it's okay, he's here, just in case those don't know him, is it okay if he's staying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you,
And thank you,
Vaughn.
sir, for
Thank
investing in the River District. And I just want to tell you, since Mr. Jones did recognize you, I came to your barbershop and you charged me finder's fee. Yeah, you did. But that's okay. Thank you. Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Reverend Campbell.
Aye.
Mr. Gilstrap.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Raleigh. Mayor Saunders.
Aye.
Mr. Shanks. Mr. Vogler.
Aye.
Mr. Buckner.
Aye.
Consideration resolution approving Parks and Recreation Master Plan. Mr. Vogler.
Mr. Mayor, I move a resolution authorizing and approving the Parks and Recreation Master Plan.
Mr. Gilstrap, second the motion. Discussion on the motion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Gilstrap.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Raleigh. Mayor Saunders.
Aye.
Mr. Shanks. Mr. Vogler.
Aye.
Mr. Buckner.
Aye.
Reverend Campbell.
Aye.
Communication, Mr. Manager.
I have nothing this evening, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Attorney.
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
Nothing.
Okay, please call the roll.
Mr. Buckner.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the Girl Scouts that came out tonight, and thank you for all you do for the young ladies of our community and building and molding them into great leaders of our community. I'd also like to thank, my mind just went blank, I'm sorry. Anyway, on to the next. I'd invite everybody to go check out the home sign right there on Main Street. It's actually on the corner of Main and Union Street. I know Councilman Vogler and Ena Dixon worked very hard on that, along with several other agencies. Be sure you go by and take a picture of it. It's lit up tonight, as a matter of fact. Get yourself a selfie and get it out there. I'm ahead of you already. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Reverend Campbell.
Yes, I'd like to thank the Girl Scouts for being out once again. I look forward to eating your cookies and really to see leadership in the community. It's always good to see Laura Moran, Director of the Chamber of Commerce. And I serve on the Transit Board, and there's been a lot of comments about the bus service to the mall that would eventually be stopped. This is not a decision of the Transit Board, but this is a decision of the mall owners that they want to terminate the service to the mall. We're working on some alternatives, and I know the citizens are very concerned about it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Gilstrap.
I too would like to thank the Girl Scouts, and especially, this is my favorite meeting, when we get these cookies. Thank you so very much, and best of luck to you, not only in your programs, but in your cookie sales. And thanks to all of our guests for coming. We appreciate you.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Mayor, you heard me talk about my physical this week, so I'm going to tell all of us in my family and my advisor what I'm going to be doing tonight. Thanks to the Girl Scouts, I'm going to be eating some Thanks a Lot shortbread cookies dipped in rich fudge, and I'm going to enjoy them very much. Also, oftentimes we encourage our citizens to get involved, whether it's voicing their concerns or asking questions. So I'd like to commend the numerous citizens who have taken interest in vying for an active role in city government. Many of them are here tonight. So I want to say thank you all so much for fulfilling their duty. And lastly, we'd like to congratulate the George Washington High School boys basketball team. This week we'll be traveling to Richmond in preparation for the state playoffs. Mr. Larson, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Miller.
Thank Mr. Larson for coming tonight and giving us input on the hospital. Thank you for the Girl Scouts. You know, I had 2 Girl Scouts. I must have sold 400 zillion boxes of cookies. Attended numerous functions and camps with my daughters, and it was just great memories, the Girl Scouts, and I truly believe it benefited them and will continue to benefit them in their careers. I hope you all got out to vote today. We should vote in all elections, is my theory. And I'm like Reverend Campbell, I'm disappointed in the mall. To me, it doesn't make good business sense. I mean, it looks like to me you'd want people brought to your doorstep, people who shop there, even the people who work there. Some of them come by public transportation. So to cut this off, I just don't understand what they're thinking. And this past weekend, a great event at the North Theater, Black History Month celebration. The mayor and I were there, along with many other people. Angela Fowler, local personality, just a great voice. She's performed in New York. She produced and highlighted the program. She sang jazz songs. TV personality Jessica Griffin did a tribute to Whitney Houston, which was awesome. We had comedians Donnie Hunt and the notorious Hassie Mae, Yvette Urquhart, who just had you rolling in your seats, plus African American dance groups. This was a great event, and it's going to be an annual event. My wife said the only thing that disappointed her is it wasn't sold out. For $15, that show, if you'd gone to a variety show like that, of that caliber, in New York City, you would have paid $100 a seat and not thought anything about it. It was just an awesome show. So, again, the owner of the North Theater says he's going to make that an annual event. Please come next year. It was just awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Raleigh, Mr. Shanks, Mr. Vogler.
I also want to give a shout out to the GW basketball team and a great group of young men, and I've had a chance to make a lot of the games and watch them, and just a great group of young men on and off the court, and really proud of them. And they will be in Richmond this Friday at the Siegel Center at VCU, place that I'm a little familiar with from my college days, and I wish them the best of luck, and I know they're going to do a great job. Thank the Girl Scouts for being here tonight. Miguel and the whole group. I can remember, and it seems like yesterday, but the event that it was at the mall, I guess it's been about 5 years now. And to see how, you all have been involved in the community over the years, and just so proud of you guys, and know you're going to continue to make a mark, not only here in Danville, but in the world. And I want to thank you all for everything that you do and continue to do. I also, the situation with the mall, I know we've all gotten calls about it, and it's certainly a decision that they have their reasons, I suppose, but it's concerning to me, and we want to be inviting to people, and you want people to be able to have access to businesses and access to their jobs. A lot of the people who work in the mall use our transit system to get there, so we are hearing about this, and some of it is out of our hands. But if there are things that we can do, I hope that we will have those conversations. Today was National Reading Day. I had the opportunity to go to Park Avenue Elementary School and read to a group of second graders there, and had a great time. And then also later in the day was over at Cardinal Village to read and get to do some of the activities with the young people there, and had a great time. I want to thank Constance Covington not only for inviting me, but for the tremendous work that she does in the community there. A phenomenal woman who spends, and I know Alonzo can attest to this, he spends a lot of time over there with the young people as well. But Constance does great work over there, and so I can't thank her enough. And lastly, I too just want to encourage everybody to go check out that home sign. It has historical significance, and it was another example of, James mentioned Ena Dixon. The conversation was started about bringing this whole project about. Ena Dixon mentioned it to me about how neat it would be while we were at the 616 looking at one of the historical letters in that business. And I've got to give a lot of credit to Ken Larking, because what I did was mention it to Ken and see if we could put together the necessary parties. And Ken, like that, brought everybody together, and it went from there. And the Historical Society, Parks and Rec, and everyone who's been involved in the months since. But just an awesome example of a citizen bringing something to one of us, and being able to work with different partners and bring something really cool for the city to fruition. So I invite everybody to go check it out and post pictures, and just really proud of our city. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor Saunders.
Thank you. With regards to the mall and the bus service, Mr. Larkin, if anything changes, please let us know. That is very concerning to me, all of us, quite frankly, and I was very surprised to hear that. So I hope that issue can be reverse, quite frankly. And to the Girl Scouts, I cannot thank you enough for these cookies. I'm trying to decide, leave them in the car or take them inside the house. If I do, my wife's going to eat them up before I do. Okay? So I'll just share them with her, okay? And May, your last meeting?
My last meeting.
Are you going to college?
No, I'm junior, but I'll be here next year, but I won't be leaving it. I'll be handing it off.
Okay. Well, thank you for your years of service to our young people, to our city, and thank you for the cookies. Really appreciate that. Also, I want to thank Wayne Allen, the owner of the North Theater. He does so much for our city, so much entertainment. As the Vice Mayor said, we were there last Saturday night, and he is really, I think, a jewel in this city. The man gives up his time, of his resources, involved in the community, and we're very fortunate that he came to Danville and invested in Danville and brought that facility. We really appreciate that. Lots of talent there. Angela Fowler, my goodness, just wonderful, along with Jessica Griffith and others. Great event. Donnie Hunt, the comedian, just a great event. Finally, I want to again thank the community for having a conversation. Yes, we have had some things happen in our community that we don't like and that we're trying to do something about. We're trying to remain positive, but at the same time, factual. We're not overlooking anything, but factual. Everywhere I've gone in recent time, there's a conversation about our city. And the question always began with, what can we do? What can we do? I'm glad that conversation is taking place. Out of this conversation, this dialogue, we will find things that we can do, okay? The list is very long. There may be long-term and short-term approaches, but there are things that we can do to make our city better, to make our city more safe, to celebrate each other. And I maintain that we can do that we are doing that. And even spurts of violence and other negative behavior, we're still making progress in this city. So I hope the conversation continues, but not just conversation. I hope that we become physically involved, as in going to communities, talking to people, and listening. One of the greatest needs of human beings, and that is to be listened to. So let's listen more and talk less. Oftentimes, when people are listened to, they can find resolution to their own issues, and we can find ways to be of more assistance. But we are independent on each other. We need each other. I maintain Danville is a great city. We have things to fix. We can fix the thing by coming together. I will always be very proud of our city, and I thank everyone for this conversation about what can we do, how can I help, what needs to happen. Good. Out of that also come solutions. So thank you. Let's talk more, let's act more, and let's make our city better. We can do that. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.